the free HTML course that you're about to watch is just a small part of our full front-end web development masterclass. So if you also want to learn CSS, Bootstrap, Font Awesome, Animate.css, and all of that, and also gain your certificate and become a certified front-end web developer, you can enjoy the fast link in the description and get your access to our full front-end web development bootcamp at a fraction of cost. Also mentionable that this course is brought up to you by the Takeoff College, the smartest alternative currently available to the traditional education. With all that being said, I'm so excited, so let's get started. The next thing we are going to talk about is forms, which are also a very important part when it comes to the foundations of web, as they are our primary source of communication with the users that we have inside our websites or applications. So forms are started with this parent tag of form, which we always use. It has an action attribute, which is about the functionality and backend development. So we do not have to do anything with it, at least right now, you know what I'm saying? So we leave it empty. And inside this form tag, we have input, which is very, very important. So as you see, input tag doesn't have no closings, is a single isolated tag, just like BR, IMG, and same tags were. And inside of it, we have a type attribute, which is necessary and required. And as you see here, it has written text. So this is an average input that we have. We can enter text inside it. And then what we will need is a button to submit all this data. So we can have an input with the type submit. And as you see, this will submit our form to the server. Inside of the form tag, we can have plenty of different types of inputs. So we have input text, we can have input number, which will only and only take numbers. So if I try to type anything inside it, you can see that it gets no values. But if I type numbers, this will be filled with it, you know. Let me use BRs in order to keep it clean. Yes. Another important type that we have is checkbox, which is all about a checkbox, as you see, just like this, and we can either check or uncheck it. And when it comes to inputs, any kinds of inputs that we are using, we have a label for them. So we can have a label for them. And this label, as it says itself, will label them inputs. So I can say full name, you know, and this will specify what I want in this input of mine. And here, as you see, it says for. So for is about connecting this label with the input that it is related to. And how we do that is by giving the input an ID. So ID is an attribute which has to be unique, and we'll name our tag. So I call it full name. And as you see, I can say for full name. And if I reload, this is what will happen. How can you understand that the label is connected to the input? Whenever you click the label and the input is selected, you will be sure that they both are connected with each other. So I can even include a break over here, as you see. BR. So we also do have labels for checkboxes, which is probably an essential one. So we do have a checkbox, but we have not specified what the checkbox is about. So now what we can do is we can give it an ID. For example, I say accept the ID and a label for accept. And inside the label, for example, I say I accept the terms. And now, as you see, we will have this explanation, which will be connected to our checkbox, and the user can either check or uncheck by clicking on it. Along with checkboxes, we also have radio buttons, so it will be input type radio. As they look very similar to checkboxes, but radio buttons are very important. And the importance to them is that whenever we have a checkbox, it can either be checked or unchecked. But whenever we have a radio button, or a couple of them, I'd better say, one of them must be checked, and no more than one of them, or no less than one of them can be checked. For example, we have a gender part inside our form. So I say label for male. So I give it an ID and I say male, and inside of it I say male. I copy this one and now I say female. So as you see, you only can choose one of them. But now a very cool thing that happened was that I could choose both. And that's why I have not specified the area for them. So how do we do that? Whenever we have radio buttons, the necessary thing that we do is naming them. So I say name, and for example, I say gender, or something like that. And I give this name to both inputs. And now, as you see, these two are connected and only one of them can be selected. So this was about radio buttons. We also have email, which is another kind of a text, but is only for emails. So you set the type to email and you will get it as I will do. So as you see, if I enter something which is not an email and try to submit the form, it says that please include an @ in the email address, So this will format the input content for us automatically. Another kind of an input that we have is date, which will look like this. As you see, we'll get a special day from us. The date can also be a month or a year one. So how these work is that they require the person, the user, to only specify a year or a month inside the input. Sorry, I think we do not have any year thing. It was week, yes. So we can specify weeks, as you see, or years, or a special date, We also have the type password. So what it will do is that, as you see, it will hide the characters that we enter inside the input. We also have inputs with the type file. So file is, as it says, basically for uploading things. It says no chosen file, so we can click on choose file and choose a file from our computer. We also have image as the input type. So it will only get an image from us. We also have color, which can be separated to a different category. As you see, this is what it will give us. So this will get a certain color inside the form from our user whenever it's needed. We also have the input search. There's plenty of them. If you just Google about it, or the file that you will get with this lesson inside the Takeoff College. So there will be attachments. One of the attachments will be a cheat sheet. So the cheat sheet will include all the tags that I have mentioned or I have missed in the course, all of them, inside a PDF file, which you can always have whenever you're coding. So what was it? It was about search, yes. The primary characteristic of it is this close button, which will clear the input for us whenever we click it. We also have input hidden. So it's basically hidden. We cannot see it. And this kind of an input, if you see, I changed this search. So if I reload, as you see, this is hidden. So this hidden input will be used only in backend programming stuff whenever we want to keep a data, but not show it, you know. We will use this input hidden. And that's basically it. We also have time. I can include it here. So the type time will be something like this. We can select a special hour and minute inside it. So this is it. These are form inputs. There also are very important attributes that can be applied to all of these inputs with different types that we mentioned. And these attributes are, one of them, for example, is required. So what required does, sorry, not for the label, for the input. So what the required does is that if we click submit, as you see, it will say that please fill out this field. So this will make this field required, as you see. Another attribute we have is value, which will allow us to give a certain value, a default value to this. So as you see, the value will be pasted here. We have placeholder, which is different from the value. So value will be here, and if I add anything, it will be added to the default value. But placeholder is just a shadow, as you see, and just an example. So if I type anything, that will be gone. So this is placeholder. We also can have read only. So read only will make the input uneditable. So as you see, whatever try I make to change it or remove it or something, I can't do anything. I just can copy what it is and read it. So this is read only input. And these are basically this. This is all about, this is what forms are all about in hypertext markup language.